He murdered my informant. Whatever you need, I'll get you.
Chicago PD!
What the hell are you doing here?
Keep your hands where I can see them!
These sinkholes will continue to randomly generate.
So what's the plan?
Thousands of people are at risk right now.
The only way to stop this is to destroy that portal.
Later, Jimmy Fallon welcomes Yara Shahidi, NBC.
On our broadcast tonight, behind the scenes of a 911 call. We'll learn about a day in the life of a dispatcher.
Plus, watch how many fish you eat from local lakes. The DNR has sent out warnings because of PFAS contamination.
And church membership is declining. We'll hear about some local congregations bucking that trend as your local news starts right now.
News Watch 12 with Dan Hagan, Jessica Jukic, and Conrad Sapinski.
Good evening and welcome to News Watch 12 at 10. I'm Jessica Jukic.
And I'm Dan Hagan. January weather has been abnormal so far with above average temperatures and more rain than snow.
But that will change tonight. Meteorologist Conrad Sapinski joins us now. Conrad, we're just starting to see some flakes falling out there.
Yes, exactly that, guys. Get ready. This is pretty much the calm before the storm. Tomorrow morning, it's going to be a whole different story out there. And we know exactly what's coming. That's why we have some winter storm warnings in effect all across the area. Even Green Bay is in on some winter storm warnings. But just south of that, winter weather advisories, as a little bit of that snow will start to mix with a rain. Right now, we do have the bulk of that precipitation still south north, and it is coming in with a lot of heavy snow. Look at all these blue colors. Those are indications of 1 to even 2 inch per hour snowfall rates, and that's continuing to move up north. That means we're going to get in on some of that heavy precipitation overnight, especially into those morning hours tomorrow. That low pressure system is pretty much hovering close to Kansas right now, and you can see all that warmer air starting to rise. Look at Minneapolis, 40s right now. They're going to get some rain, no snow there as temperatures will continue to rise there. For us, though, we'll be hovering in those mid to even upper 20s overnight with some snow. It's going to become some heavy snow by the morning hours tomorrow. Dan and Jessica?
Thank you, Conrad. Most jobs aren't a matter of life or death, but a dispatch center handles those kinds of emergencies every day.
And communication is key. Dispatchers have to be prepared for whatever situation comes up and give clear, concise directions to emergency responders. Newswatch 12's Morgan Johnson gives us a behind-the-scenes look into a local dispatch center.
The Oneida County Telecommunications Department has a set of standards, but employees like Brandy Gray know it's never the same process.
Each call is different.
Whether it's a car accident, a serious injury, or a mental health related call, she proceeds with caution.
If you've ever called before, one of us is getting the information and someone else is listening and then dispatching the resources they need. So if it's a fire, they're sending the fire department. If it's an accident, we're sending an ambulance.
The dispatch center takes police, fire, and EMS calls. Gray says the number of calls they receive depends on the weather.
Just really depends on what Mother Nature throws at us.
Luckily, the dispatch center benefits from emerging technology because it helps people to get to safety faster.
We see a large trend with like the crash apps and like Apple Watches with getting 911 calls from those types of things, which are a great resource for us because they usually give us like a location. So sometimes we're able to get help to people faster.
Overall, the dispatch center gets around 30,000 calls each year. 7,000 to 8,000 of those are 911 calls. No matter what kind of call it is, Gray knows she's a valuable asset.
I've been doing it about 9 years now. I like that I'm helping others and making a difference.
The Anago firefighter who ran the department's cadet program was charged this week with child sexual assault. He's facing allegations that he inappropriately touched 2 underage members of the program. John Krieger has worked with the Anago Fire Department for more than 20 years. In the cadet program, Krieger trains teenagers in firefighting. According to the criminal complaint, one victim claims Krieger grabbed her butt at least once a day when she was at the department 4 or 5 months after joining. A second victim claimed Krieger grabbed her butt on her last day of the cadet program last year. Krieger admitted that he did touch the first victim's butt. A status conference in this case is scheduled for March 6th.
A new report shows freshwater fish contain elevated levels of PFAS. Now the DNR is warning about that problem in area lakes. The DNR and the Wisconsin Department of Health Services announced a fish consumption advisory for Lake Wausau. The DNR recently did a study showing that PFAS were found in several fish species sampled from both Lake Wausau and the Stevens Point flowage. The advisory for Lake Wausau stretches from the Wausau Dam downstream to the Schofield and Rothschild Dam. The advisory also includes the Big Rib River until the Highway 29 overpass. There is also an advisory for the Stevens Point flowage stretching from the Dew Bay Dam until the Stevens Point Dam. The DNR says people should limit eating black crappies, bluegill, rock bass, and yellow perch to 1 meal a week for both bodies of water.
The Wisconsin DNR is looking for data on the water quality of lakes, streams, and rivers. In accordance with the Clean Water Act, the DNR uses assessments to prepare a statewide integrated water quality report, which will include an updated list of impaired waters. As in every 2 years, the DNR is asking residents and groups to submit their biological, chemical, and physical surface water data. Data will be accepted from now until February 23rd. Along with department collected data, submitted data will be used to assess the quality of the state's water resources and pinpoint problem areas. For many, the sound of church bells on a Sunday means getting together for prayer.
But fewer people are doing that. A poll by Gallup shows that church membership in the United States has dipped below 50%. Newswatch 12's Kyle Pozorski has more on some local churches defying that trend.
We really have not experienced a decline in attendance.
Pastor Rod Ackram of Calvary Baptist Church says that his congregation is bucking the national trend.
Thankfully, we're about the same level we were. But I will tell you, it's not the same people that we probably had 4 years ago.
Ackram says that while the numbers have stayed the same, habits, though, have changed.
People used to come 4 Sundays out of 4 Sundays. And now, for a lot of people, it's less frequent. Thankfully, we haven't seen a lot of that in our particular church. But just because you haven't seen it here doesn't mean it's not happening other places.
Pastor Jeremy Vandergeeling of Pine Grove Community Church says that through conversations he's had with other church leaders, decline is happening, but not something he's seen at Pine Grove.
So they don't have any younger families. They don't have any of that, and we have a bunch of that.
He says that part of what Pine Grove likes to do is bring in families to help grow the church for generations to come.
We've had some young, starting out in their career, move to Rhinelander and come to our church and stay here.
That was Kyle Pozorski reporting. Coming up, Ukraine is mourning after a deadly plane crash. We'll have a look at what happened and who was on board.
And a congressman is in hot water again, this time for allegedly taking money from a fundraiser for a veteran's dying dog. We'll have the details after weather with Conrad.
Get up to 80% off list prices during our huge inventory reduction sale at Slumberland Furniture. $20 million worth of furniture and mattresses must go. Lowest prices around on recliners, sofas, mattresses, and lots more. Slumberland Furniture.
GMC Sierra with hands-free driving offers the most advanced and luxurious pickup in its class. Yeah, it rocks.
To everyone who loves great food, let us make you a meal the Wisconsin way.
We cook each butter burger to order for you and the people you love, so it's the best part of your day.
The best.
The best.
And every creamy scoop of fresh frozen custard, pure happiness.
Pure happiness.
Pure happiness. Because where Culver's comes from.
And the heart of America's Dairyland.
Our love.
Our love for fresh food is as strong as our love for all of you.
From Wisconsin with love.
Welcome to Delicious.
Got a New Year's resolution to save? Cellcom is here to help. Take advantage of our largest sign-on bonus ever and get $500 when you activate a new smartphone line, now through February 9th. Plus, make the switch to Cellcom and get up to an additional $650 per line. We'll help you keep your fitness resolutions, too. Save $150 on all tablets and smartwatches. Follow your favorite fitness apps with our tablets or track your workout activity with our smartwatches. Visit Cellcom.com/save for details.
Up to 80% off list prices during our huge inventory reduction sale at Slumberland Furniture. $20 million worth of merchandise must go. Lowest prices around on mattresses, rugs, bar stools, sectionals, accent chairs, and more at Slumberland Furniture.
And welcome back, guys. Got some good news for you snowmobilers and skiers as well. A lot more snow is on the way. Those trails are going to look a lot nicer in 48 hours, so it's exactly the relief we need. The snow is just starting to move into Wisconsin right now. We do have a couple of snow showers in the area. Look at Eagle River with a 3-mile visibility right now. Everyone's going to have some very low visibility, especially by those morning hours tomorrow, so expect heavy delays, drive extra slow, and please take extra precautions for the morning commute tomorrow, as that snow is starting to move in right now. Still south of Wausau, still south of Eau Claire area, but look at all this blue right now, and those darker blue colors indicating that heavier snow moving in with 1 to even 2 inches per hour rates overnight. That's going to occur mostly from 4 to around 9 a.m. tomorrow. Look at this system. Lots of rain down south, closer to Illinois. Same thing in Ohio area, but of course up north, cooler temperatures, and we're getting snow. Look at all the snow, darker blue colors indicating some very heavy snow right now in Iowa, moving into Wisconsin. So we will get in on some heavier snow, mostly after 3 a.m. That's when it's going to start snowing, anywhere from 4 to around 9 a.m., 10 a.m. We're going to get the heaviest snow with around 1 to 2 inch per hour rates. Then we'll have some lingering snow even into the afternoon hours tomorrow, lingering throughout the day, and then finally by the late afternoon to overnight hours on Thursday, where the system finally starts to move out of the region, and we'll just stick around with some mostly cloudy skies. Temperatures, of course, still below freezing. Look at all these advisories and warnings in the states, Midwest, upper Midwest. Look at Denver. They had 9 inches of snowfall in the area. Now those warnings have finally dissipated. But look at this track, pretty much right in the bullseye of this whole snowstorm. That's why we have some winter storm warnings that are going to be in effect until 6 p.m. tomorrow here in our pretty much all over the state, not only in the county, all over the state, even by Green Bay. There's some winter storm warnings in the area, but just south of that, that's when the lighter precipitation is pretty much going to be hovering, and a little bit of rain will be mixing in, so those snowfall totals are a little bit on the lower end. Here in town, though, we're looking at 4 to 8 plus inches of snow. The far northeastern part of Wisconsin, we might have some pockets of over 8 inches of snowfall possible with all those heavy snowfall rates moving in just several hours. All right, so what are we expecting? So we're expecting some heavy snow moving in tonight. We're looking at least 2 to 4 inches of snowfall by the morning hours tomorrow. Definitely a messy commute, so leave a little bit extra early, 10 to 1 ratio. So that means every 10 inches of snow would equal 1 inch of liquid equivalent, and this has a lot of liquid in it, a lot of moisture in it. We're looking at wind gusts around 25 to even 30 miles an hour. There will be a lot of impacts. Winds are also going to be a bit on the breezy end, not quite as windy, but still a little bit of wind mixed in with all that heavy snow, and that means bad road conditions. A lot of that warmer air is starting to move up north. You could see in Tennessee right now, but we will get in on that colder air. Tonight, though, snow and wind will be lingering in the area, really picking up overnight, especially by the morning hours. Our 7-day outlook, brought to you by Northwoods Furniture and Mattress, does show a nice-looking weekend. Temperatures, though, will finally be cooling down and back into those low to mid-20s. Jessica?
The world is mourning the deaths of senior Ukrainian government officials after a helicopter carrying them crashed near a kindergarten in the Kyiv region Wednesday. Officials say at least 14 people died, including at least 1 child, as well as all 9 people on board the helicopter. Ukrainian officials say the Interior Minister, First Deputy Minister, and a Ministry of State Secretary all died in the crash. The officials are thought to be the most senior Ukrainian government officials to have died since last year's Russian invasion.
There are no more accidents. This is the result of the war. Every death is the result of war.
The crash also injured at least 24 people. Ukrainian security services investigators have not suggested Russia's involvement with the crash, but they have launched an investigation and say they will look into whether there were any flight rule violations, helicopter malfunctions, or sabotage. A new allegation tonight against George Santos, the New York congressman accused of misrepresenting much of his background.
This latest accusation involving a GoFundMe campaign and a sick dog. Ryan Nobles is at the Capitol with more.
Tonight, a disabled Navy veteran calling out embattled Congressman George Santos.
He should be ashamed of himself, but he doesn't have shame. He's a psychopath.
Richard Osthoff claims Santos helped to raise thousands of dollars for a cancer treatment for his therapy dog and then never came through with the cash.
I was so livid that I realized that this guy is now a serving congressman. He doesn't deserve that job.
The dog, Sapphire, never received the treatment and later died. Santos did not respond to NBC News, but told Semaphore the story is not true. This accusation comes at the same time as a new revelation contradicts a major claim by Santos that his mother was, quote, in her office in the South Tower on September 11th. But genealogist Alex Kazalrith acquired immigration records from Fatima DeVolder and shared those with NBC that showed she applied for a visa in 2003, which stated she had not been in the U.S. since 1999. Right now, Santos faces 5 possible investigations.
The voters of his district have elected him. He is seated. He is part of the Republican conference.
Santos is now freshly seated both on the House Small Business Committee and the Science, Space, and Technology Committee and will continue to serve in Congress, despite calls from fellow New York members to step down.
I don't think there's any way he could possibly perform his duty.
And despite this new round of accusations, Santos still refuses to engage in even basic questions about the inconsistencies in his background. He has admitted that he's embellished his resume, but claims he is not a fraud.
We always discuss high school highlights and scores, but sometimes those sports take local athletes to new heights.
Coming up on Newswatch 12, learn about a Chequamegon basketball star and where he's taking his talents. We'll be right back.
Trust him with a car.
Of course we can, Lindsay. With AAA Auto Insurance.
Wait, AAA has auto insurance?
We do home insurance, too.
Switch and save on AAA Auto Insurance and expect something more.
Would you look at that?
It's beautiful.
What?
It's our boy.
So proud.
Right now, get a sausage McMuffin or sausage biscuit paired with hash browns for just $2.50.
Emmer Properties leases office, storage, and manufacturing space, as well as apartments, duplexes, and homes. We are your first call, your last call, your only call for your rental or lease needs.
This winter, Ho Chunk Gaming Wittenberg wants you to unleash the Snow Beast. Win a 2023 Ski-Doo Renegade Enduro snowmobile with an enclosed trailer from Anago Yamaha. Then we'll send you to AJ's Walleye Lodge in the UP for 5 days and 4 nights of serious powder. Earn points, rewards, play, and entries. We'll give it away Saturday, January 28th at 9 p.m. Unleash the Snow Beast at Ho Chunk Gaming Wittenberg.
Get up to 80% off list prices during our huge inventory reduction sale at Slumberland Furniture. $20 million worth of furniture and mattresses must go. Lowest prices around on TV consoles, recliners, bar stools, sofas, mattresses, and lots more. Get the deal of a lifetime on clearance, one-of-a-kinds, scratch and dents, and more. Stores are packed with merchandise that must go. Up to 80% off at the huge inventory reduction sale on now at Slumberland Furniture.
We really trust him with a car.
Of course we can, Lindsay. With AAA Auto Insurance.
Wait, AAA has auto insurance?
We do home insurance, too.
Switch and save on AAA Auto Insurance and expect something more.
Coming up on your Thursday, learn about the upcoming winter regatta at Pitlick's Resort.
And plenty of snow on the way, much needed for the snowmobile trails and the ski resorts, but travel issues on the way. More when you tune in on your Thursday from 5 to 7.
Isaiah Dietz is made where he's spending his next 4 years official. Newswatch 12 Serenity Douglas caught up with him before he puts the pen to paper.
I knew, growing up that I wanted to play on a scholarship.
Isaiah Dietz officially committed to Concordia University St. Paul. He cares about being in a family-oriented environment.
After a great visit with the coaches, I felt very welcomed, and the team, kind of made me feel like I was a part of like a family, and I felt like with the players they had and the coaching staff that I'd picked right there.
Isaiah sees his value and is ready to contribute to the team.
A lot of it comes down to leadership, and I think with my leadership, I have a lot to bring to that program, and the family part of it, just, that can bring a lot of success to the program, especially at the level they're playing at.
But they don't just hand out D2 scholarships to just anyone. It takes hard work and determination.
He doesn't just talk about being a better player. He goes and does what it takes to get there. 6 a.m. coming in at night, coming into the weight room when others are not. When his friends are doing fun things during the summer. Isaiah's doing something related to basketball usually.
Behind every good athlete is a good coach ready to push them beyond their limits and encourage them to do their best.
I don't think I've ever met a coach with his energy. That guy is crazy, but I love it. I think we have a really great connection on and off the court. I can talk to him. We have, good autonomy there. So it's really great to have a coach you can connect with, but at the same time, when it's time to practice, time for game, he's ready.
Picking a college is a big decision, and it doesn't happen overnight. Isaiah had certain criteria the college had to meet.
A lot of it came down to, distance from home, being only 3.5 hours away, that isn't bad at all. And definitely got to go through the game experience, what they do on game day, and that kind of got me excited. I'm like, this is the place where I want to be.
Reporting in Park Falls, I'm Serenity Douglas, Newswatch 12.
The Milwaukee Bucks have a winning streak again after taking down the Toronto Raptors at home last night, 130 to 122. The win was big because it puts the Bucks back in second place in the Eastern Conference standings, and it was also a big win for the Bucks because it proved that they could win games without star forward Giannis Antetokounmpo, who was sidelined for the 4th straight game with a knee issue. That and adding an ejection from Brook Lopez proved that the Bucks' depth had enough resilience to pull out a win. Leading scorer for Milwaukee was guard Drew Holiday, who scored 37 points to go along with his 6 boards and 7 assists. Head coach Mike Budenholzer is proud of his point guard for stepping up.
And obviously we're a little bit down or a little bit undermanned, and he's just stepped up in a big way. It's 2 games in a row, just vintage Drew Holiday, and he just seems like he's got a bounce, he's got a pop.
While Drew's offense was a big help for the Bucks, it was the defense from him that really stood out to Budenholzer in this game.
I think the activity, Bobby in the pick and roll, Drew in the pick and roll. I thought Joe gave us some good defensive possessions and just found a way to get the stops those last 3 minutes.
The Bucks will be back in action this Saturday in Cleveland to take on the Cavaliers. From Wisconsin, the big college team was able to get a win at home last night. The Wisconsin Badgers were able to take down Penn State by a score of 63-60. The Badgers were able to utilize everyone in their offense to win the game, with 4 players scoring in double digits. The leading scorer for the game was forward Stephen Crowell, who dropped 21 points along with 11 rebounds to secure a double-double. Crowell said that his team can now exhale after snapping their 3-game losing streak.
I think there's no nights off in this conference, so I think for all of us, we felt like it was a must-win and we wanted to win this. And not that we were desperate, but we kind of had to play like it because we lost 3 in a row. So for us in the locker room, I'd say it was a must-win for us.
Just like the Bucks, the next time the Badgers will take the court will be on Saturday. The Milwaukee Brewers have signed former Miami Marlins player Brian Anderson to a one-year, $3.5 million deal. Anderson has played both right field and third base over his career. He was drafted by the Marlins in 2014, where he played in their minor league system until being called up in 2017, where he spent his entire major league career. Over his career, Anderson has 57 home runs and 233 RBIs. We'll be right back after the break.
As a nurse, your capacity to give is superhuman until it's not. These days, nearly every nurse is exhausted. You deserve an employer who shares your passion for keeping people healthy, including you. Join Peter Christensen Health Center today. Work fewer hours, enjoy regular schedules, rebalance your life with your passion. Your loved ones will thank you. Your new healthcare team will appreciate you. And your new patients will be grateful for you. Quit the chaos. Be your best self. Join us today.
When searching for your next truck, you want your truck to last. Get the job done right with a Lenz truck. We have them all. Half-ton trucks, Power Strokes, Cummins, Duramax, SUVs, over 800 to choose from. Know that all Lenz trucks are fully inspected, certified clean, and can be bought hassle-free online. Go now to lenztruck.com.
Lenz Truck. Lenz Truck. We got the trucks at Lenz Truck.
We got the trucks.
ELM Repair in Edgar is a family-owned and operated full-service diesel repair shop. From pickups to semi-trucks to heavy equipment and RV service. If it runs on diesel, we can repair it. Want more power and better mileage? Our experienced professionals will get your truck running and at peak performance. With a state-of-the-art dyno and fully stocked parts department, we can even come out to you with our 24-hour mobile repair service. ELM is always looking for passionate and talented people to join our team. The Diesel Doctor have it done right the first time at ELM Repair.
Real Estate Auction, Rhinelander, Wisconsin. Beautiful 3-bedroom home with attached garage, finished basement, blacktop drive, wraparound, composite deck, greenhouse, pole building, and more. Contact Brass and St. Louis Auctions for more details.
Bam! My accident? My accident happened in a second.
My settlement? That's taking a really long time.
If you've been injured in an accident and need money now while your case settles, call Oasis today. We'll work with your attorney, and if you're approved, get you $500 to $100,000 in as little as 24 hours. If you lose your case, you don't have to pay Oasis back, ever. Applying for Oasis Express Cash is easy and takes 3 minutes. Call Oasis now or go online to apply.
New set, new look, Newswatch 12. Our team works around the clock to bring you the news that matters most of all to the North Woods. We are committed to the community and ensuring that you are as informed as possible. NBC Newswatch 12. News from where you live. Noon News Now with Kevin Kraft and Jeff Weller. Weekdays on Newswatch 12.
The Ice Age Trail stretches 1,200 miles across Wisconsin, and it's expanding. Antigo City Council approved a plan to build a new segment. The new loop is the first step in linking the Plover River and Kettle Bowl segments. Currently, hikers have to walk 25 miles along the side of the road between those segments. Sarah Repp from the Antigo Parks Department is excited about the new addition.
Work together to put in a route that's going to accommodate all the different uses, the ones that we currently have here at the single track trail, and then for the future for the Ice Age Trail hikers.
Rep says the project comes at no cost to taxpayers because the Trail Alliance is donating all materials and volunteers. Layout of the trails will begin later this year. They hope to complete the project by 2025.
One group in Tomahawk is making progress on a production. The Tomahawk Community Theater will be holding performances for Let Him Sleep Till It's Time for His Funeral. They have a collection of actors who haven't had much experience since high school. The group has been in rehearsals for a few weeks now. To keep on pace, they're dropping scripts now, which has been difficult for some.
When it's just small back and forth lines, those are pretty easy to memorize and to work with, but they have very long paragraphs, and that can be very challenging to work with.
Occasionally, the weather has caused the group to resort to online rehearsals. Performance dates are set for February 10th and 11th at the Inshallah Country Club. We'll be back with one final check of the forecast.
Find your style with Patriot Lighting ceiling fans from Menards. Choose from our huge selection of in-stock options. Patriot Lighting ceiling fans add elegance to any room and can help reduce your energy cost year-round. We carry a great selection of styles and finishes, so you're sure to find a look that's right for you. Save big money on Patriot Lighting ceiling fans. View all of our ceiling fans and other lighting options on Menards.com.
Save big money at Menards.
Right now, get an F-150 with 0% APR financing for 36 months, plus $1,000 bonus cash and $500 accessories cash.
Phillips Winterfest is almost here. Start the fun with the Price County Tavern Lake Tour and Shop Local event. Enjoy the candlelight walk at the Concrete Park Friday night. On Saturday, the ice fishing contest offers all anglers the chance to win cash and prizes in several categories. Race the Phillips Flurry Snowshoe 5K in person or virtually. Saturday's evening events include the snowmobile parade, ice skating party, and fireworks at Elk Lake Park. Pancake breakfast Sunday morning. Welcome to Winterfest.
Huge auction, Merrill, Wisconsin. Polaris ATV, high-end home content, sauna, mopeds, dirt bikes, tools, pool table, and more. Contact Brass and St. Louis Auctions for more details.
Take it away, boys.
This week on Jeopardy!
What a great game.
Our champ could hit the $100,000 mark in only 4 games.
Let's try 5,000.
Plus, this Jeopardy contestant is also a crime stopper.
I see. He's got my dad's wallet. I knock it to the ground. I've never met an actual superhero.
And everyone has the power to double their money.
You just moved into the lead, Aaron.
I'll make it a true daily double.
All right.
All this week on Jeopardy!
Jeopardy! Weekdays at 4:30 on NBC 12.
New set, new look, Newswatch 12. Our team works around the clock to bring you the news that matters most of all to the North Woods. We are committed to the community and ensuring that you are as informed as possible. NBC Newswatch 12. News from where you live. Noon News Now with Kevin Kraft and Jeff Weller. Weekdays on Newswatch 12.
Well, we're in Wisconsin. Who doesn't love Culver's?
Culver's is the
but
best.
I have some bad news for you guys. Culver's is switching from Pepsi to Coca-Cola products. The transition will take some time as the chain has around 900 stores across the nation, across 26 states. Culver's will still offer root beer and Dr. Pepper, sweet and unsweet tea. On social media, some customers are not happy with the move, saying it was the only place to get a Pepsi with a burger. How are you guys feeling about this?
Am I allowed to show bias here?
So
Do
long
I
as
have to
Dr.
stay
Pepper.
unbiased?
No.
I'm a very
Pop
big
off, so.
Pepsi fan. The Pepsi products. You got Mountain Dew. You got Pepsi. Those are the big two that you need, and they're going away from that. At least they're keeping Dr. Pepper.
Yeah,
That's fine.
Isn't Pepsi and Coke the same pretty much?
One is better, and one has Mountain Dew, and the
boy.
other has what, like Sierra Mist?
Yeah.
Come on now.
It's different, Dan. It's
Come on.
different.
So, you know what's even better than that? A nice and cold Coca-Cola. Cold, kind of like outside right now. Taking a look outside. It is cold, but it's also going to get snowy, especially by the morning hours. Tomorrow, just a couple of hours away. Look at all that moisture. There is a lot of moisture. We're going to have snowfall rates of around 1 to 2 inches per hour into the morning hours tomorrow. We have some winter storm warnings in the area pretty much across the across most of the state in Wisconsin. Lower Wisconsin has some winter weather advisories because some rain will be mixing in. Our 7-day outlook does show a nice looking weekend ahead. Temperatures in those low to mid-20s, so get ready for the snow, guys. There's a lot coming.
This is the snow everyone's been waiting for.
Yes, absolutely.
We'll see you back here tomorrow. Have a good night.
Your personal information gets exposed so often, it might as well be hanging in a museum. Everyday activities like online shopping, banking, and even data breaches may expose your information and make it dangerously easy to have your identity stolen. No wonder there's a new victim every 3 seconds.
Someone stole my information and tried to buy a car in my name. Felt really devastating, frightened, because I had no control.
And the ways identity thieves can steal and use your information are constantly evolving.
Someone used my information to open up bank accounts in my name. It was terrifying, not knowing what was out there and what had been opened.
Watching your accounts or monitoring your credit may not be enough, but protecting your identity can be easy with LifeLock, a leader in identity theft protection. LifeLock monitors threats to your identity, and if an issue is detected, sends you an alert.
It was a big yes or a big no button. I clicked "That's not me," and LifeLock took it from there.
If you are a victim of identity theft, a dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist will work to fix it.
If something happens, you have somebody fighting for you. I don't know what I would have done without my restoration specialist.
And you'll be covered by the LifeLock $1 Million Protection Package, including reimbursement for stolen funds, personal expenses, and coverage for lawyers and experts if needed.
With the $1 Million Protection Package, I know LifeLock has me covered.
It can be dangerously easy to steal your identity, but now it's easy to help protect yourself.
I realize identity theft can happen to anybody, so that's why I signed up for LifeLock.
Join the millions of people already protected by LifeLock, and for a limited time, save 25% with promo code 25TV. LifeLock. Identity theft protection starts here.
Call 1-800-951-7218
or go to lifelock.com/25TV and use promo code 20.